Okay, we're talking about rebelling today. I know it's Easter. But new beginnings begin with rebelling. I was thinking our 25th anniversary, and Reverend Irma, she probably didn't think of herself this way, but I think she was a little bit of a spiritual rebel, right? To think, I'm going to plant a New Thought church in the Conejo Valley 25 years ago. Okay, Susan was there 24 years ago, so she's nodding her head. 25 years ago. Oh, you met her at the Friday night, and then it was a year later. Okay, so for 25 years. So she was a rebel, right, Susan? Yeah, she was like a spiritual rebel. Because that means that you're going to say, this is what I believe in. This is what my purpose is, and I'm going after it no matter what, right? I'm going to live my divine truth no matter what, even if there's no one else doing it, even if there's 1,000 other people doing it. I know what my truth is. Yeah, so the other rebel we're talking about today, of course, is Jesus. It's Easter. And he was a rebel because, you know what? He was going against the old guard, right? He was doing his own thing. He was claiming that he was the Son of God, and that was rebelling. For him to say, I am the Son of God. Really? You're telling us that? Yes, I am the Son of God. That was rebelling. And I was thinking rebelling often happens right before new beginning. So if we think of Easter as a new beginning, a rebellion usually comes before, because it's usually when a group consciousness or something inside of us says, no more. There's a discontentment. There's a, I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want to think like this anymore. I don't want to be like this anymore. I want something different. And so there's a shakeup. I was thinking about the war in Ukraine, right, where we all thought a little over a year ago, Russia comes in and we thought, that's the end of Ukraine. But guess what? No. Those Ukrainians, good on them, they just kept rebelling. And they said, no, wait. We're going to prove the world wrong, right? They're still there fighting. And there's, of course, other stories throughout history, too, that shows that when people get uncomfortable, that discomfort, they're no longer willing to acquiesce, right? Acquiesce. Thank you. They're no longer willing to do that. Or we're no longer willing to do that to ourselves. And that causes a stir and a change so big that it feels like a rebellion. So recently, as some of you know, I've started to have a little bit of my own rebellion. Well, so I was talking to my therapist. Let's just get real here, everybody. So I was talking to my therapist about a month ago, and I was sharing about how I always follow the rules, right? I'm a good girl, always follow the rules. And so we talked about what would be a healthy rebellion for me. And so I sat down and I wrote, if you will, my own rebellion manifesto. I said, okay, here are some items that would feel like rebelling. So I thought I'd share a couple with you. The first one, interesting, was, here's a rebellion. I'm going to place me first in my desires, needs, likes, and wants. And then I have a little side note. This is rebellious? Yeah. I'm seeing all the nurturers out there going, right? The helpers of the world, the caregivers, the nurturers. Yeah. To put yourself first, your own needs, likes, desires, your own self first, can feel like a rebellion. Another item I put is be okay with not being liked or having approval from everyone. Oh. I mean, if you're a good girl, everyone needs to like you, right? Or if you're the good boy, everyone has to like you, right? What if we rebelled and thought, you know what? What if I like me? What if I like me? I can't control the reactions of everyone else. That's rebellious. I have play more and make more mistakes. Yeah, I see some heads nodding. Making mistakes is very rebellious for a perfectionist, isn't it? I'm going to purposely make some mistakes? Whoa. I know, I'm getting crazy on you all. I also put, get a crazy new hair color. Okay, we got to tiptoe into rebellion sometimes. So I told some of the story, but I said to him, like, I'm rebelling. I'm going to get a new hair color. And he said, okay. And I said, what should I get? And he said, purple. And I said, oh, no. And he said, pink. And I said, no. And he said, turquoise, your favorite color? I said, oh, no. I'm thinking like brown or red. And he's like, he goes, so you're coloring your hair? Like, yes, I am. But it's a different color. We got to go slow sometimes in our rebellion. I also get a tattoo. I'm not there yet, but I'll let you all know if I and when I get there. But here's when I was looking through my list, because there was other items as well. And it all came down to worth. What is my worth? Do you feel worthy to be able to claim, like Jesus, that you are the son or daughter of God? That's pretty huge in our culture, to say that I am the son of God. I am the daughter of God. To claim that is a rebellion, because you're rebelling in the name of your own worth. And I see this especially right now I was thinking of the transgender community, right? Where they're standing up and they're saying, no, we will be seen. We will be recognized. We are worthy to stand with all of you, with the larger community. They know their worth. And all of us can do that same thing. So in my research over the last month of, going to people and asking them about their own rebellions, and the people who are really good at rebelling basically said the same thing to me. They said, you know what? I just don't care what anyone else thinks. I mean, they said it actually in harsher words. But here's what I get from that. I get that they know their truth. And when you know your truth, you know your worth. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I know who I am. And if you know who you are, then you know your worth. You know your truth. So last week on Palm Sunday, Reverend Sherry said, I love this. She said, the only thing that can be lost is your awareness of God in you. See, we fail to understand our own worth. We forget that we are essential, that God or good is waiting to be uniquely expressed by you and only you. That you are irreplaceable, that your unique gift is needed without validation from the outside world. Now that's rebellious in this time of social media. Not to get validation from the outside world. How many likes or hearts did you get, right? But just to know that you are irreplaceable, that you are essential, and that you are priceless. In other words, it's a rebellion to know your value, your self-worth, and to claim it. To claim it is a rebellion. So how did Jesus rebel? He said, it is so, I am the Son of God. He said, I am the King of the Jews. In other words, he was claiming his divine nature. Claiming his divine nature was rebellious. Be rebellious. Publicly, openly, embrace your gifts and your uniqueness of who you've come here to be. There is a divine spark in each of us, and it is always present. Let it spark. Let it spark so bright that everyone around you sees it. That's being a spiritual rebel. Now, interestingly, last week, Reverend Sherry mentioned the parable of the prodigal son, and I thought, oh, wow, I'd just been reading the parables, and there was one that really I'd been working with all last week, and it was the parable of the talents. So, parable of the talents, here's this is the best picture I could find, actually, everyone. They sort of look white. They're not really white. It's not historically accurate. I'm just going to put that there, too. Parable of the talents. So, a talent is what a coin was called in Jesus' time. And so Jesus is telling this parable, this story, just before he enters into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. And I love it because in our modern language, it really serves a purpose here. So there's 3 servants and who work for a man. If you read the story, he's really grumpy. Just telling you, he's kind of a grumpy, strict guy. So he gives his most senior servant 5 talents. He gives the next servant 2 talents. And the third one, who's not so bright, hasn't been there very long, he gives 1 talent. Now, the first 2 go out, and they're very clever. They buy, they sell, they invest their talents, and they double their talents. But the third servant goes out, and he buries his talent. He buries his talent. It says he dug a hole in the ground and buried his talent. In other words, if you bury your talent, you have nothing. But if you share your talent, if you invest in yourself and you share your talent with the world, you double what you have, and the world benefits. The world receives something from it. You double your worth. Don't bury your talent. See and claim your worth. Rebel and claim all of who you are. Rebel and embrace your divine identity. In doing so, a powerful transformation happens. That's the Easter story. That when we claim our divine identity, a powerful transformation happens. And I know rebelling is not easy. It's exhausting. That's why we do it in our teens, right? But also, it's because it's much easier to stay comfortable. It's much easier to keep doing what we're doing. Put the blinders on. Bury ourselves. But remember, Jesus went into the tomb, and really we can look at the tomb as that dark night of the soul. And it's the dark nights of the soul, those dark moments where change and transformation happens. We have to go sometimes through those dark nights of the soul, the darkness, in order to transform. And remember that his death was not an end but a new beginning. That sometimes in life it feels like something has died, and yet we can see it as a new beginning. It can feel rebellious to know and speak and act our own truth, our own spiritual truth. It means getting uncomfortable. But Jesus was showing us that we're here to be individualized expressions of God in the world, each with our own talents, so that we can bring forth heaven on earth through the divine qualities of love, of strength, of wisdom, of power. That can feel rebellious. It can feel like a rebellious act to show up in the world and say, I am an expression of God. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to be it. I'm going to do it. And see, that's why Good Friday comes first. Because the first step to a new beginning is to cross out our limited beliefs about ourselves. We crucify our limited thinking and embrace that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And then we surrender and know that we're part of a bigger life system. So instead of struggling, we surrender to the flow and we get out of our own way. So when it feels like a death, maybe it's the death of your old consciousness. And your new awareness can no longer hold on to the idea or the thought of playing small. Maybe it's a death of your old consciousness. And your new awareness is no longer willing to play small. So in New Thought, the resurrection is about rising up to the awareness of who you truly are, a divine expression of the one power, one presence of the universe. So rise up into everything that you were meant to be, that you were created to be. Our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, said, your body is the soil in which God's life is planted. And so we nurture the seeds of the divinity within us. We grow spiritually, and then we grow into our wholeness. Those who followed Jesus were rebels too, because they were rebelling and claiming a new way of thinking, a new idea about themselves in the world. So be a spiritual rebel. Don't bury your talents. Go out and invest them in the world. I love this quote from Reverend Sherry last week too. She said, ideas are looking for a heart to catch fire in. Oh, that's so good. Yes. Let your heart catch an idea and go forth from it. And it starts with claiming your worth. So I have some Easter affirmations for us. Let's say these together. Ready? I awaken the Christ presence within. I am a unique expression of the one power and one presence of the universe, and I claim my divine identity. Okay, now we've read it. Now we're going to say it with meaning. Ready? I awaken the Christ presence within. I am a unique expression of the one power and one presence of the universe. I claim my divine identity. And now with a whisper. I awaken the Christ presence within. I am a unique expression of the one power and one presence of the universe. I claim my divine identity. Absolutely. Absolutely. Don't bury your talents. Happy Easter, and here's to new beginnings and 25 years of Unity Oaks. Amen, everyone.